right, you guys, welcome to another episode of JCJ Ambition Worldwide. And here we are today with the beautiful Miss Real Estate. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good to hear so much. It was a pleasure that we met, and we may be doing some business together. I'm very excited about that. But I also wanted to talk a little bit about your journey into real estate and really what motivated you to become and do what you went to do. Just so we know, and you can give a little bit overview, you're not only just a landlord, but you're also a real estate owner and real estate developer. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Where is your property located? It's in Nairobi, correct?
Yes, it is Nairobi.
Okay. And for everyone to know, people watching from America, people in the diaspora, and also people on the continent, you actually worked outside of the country for a while and saved up the money, and then you were able to be prosperous and own your own land here. Is that correct?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about your journey and what inspired you to become a real estate developer?
So first of all, to begin with, my name is Joyce Nyambura Mokiria. I'm a Kenyan binational, and I would say I have been outside the country for like 8 years roughly. I have been living in United Arab Emirates, and I was working for Emirates in the beginning, and then I switched to the hospitality industry where I worked for 3 companies, and that's where I started to think that I can do something for myself other than being employed, something back at home. And I thought Nairobi is the best destination for real estate, because we have so many people, like everybody from the village, they flood to Nairobi, and people think that there is more job opportunities, and this is what made me to be inspired. Like I wanted to be a landlord. I know it has a good return. I have been a tenant for a long time because my dad was living in Nairobi for a long time, actually since I was born, but I used to come and visit him. So at that moment he was living as a tenant, so I wanted to change that life and to become someone different. And I knew just through the experience, I knew having your own real estate, it can make a huge difference. You don't have to rent out any money, and that's the most challenge. That's the biggest challenge that we come across, especially as Nairobians, because whenever you are in the city, food is more expensive, the transport is not so expensive because you can use matatu unlike any other places in other countries. So rental money is the highest challenge for so many Nairobians like me and my other people. So I thought it's a good investment.
So you've been successful in that arena. You actually own a 20-unit building, is that correct?
Yes, I do.
Listen, I gotta tell you, that's so impressive to see a young black woman do that.
Thank you.
And I want to be on your team for sure, because you're able to make something like that happen. It means that you can do it again.
Yes.
Definitely. So for potential investors out there in the diaspora, if you're interested, keep in mind that we do have a potential opportunity coming up that we're looking at. It's not specifically targeted toward just the diasporans, but also locals. If you're interested, we can definitely all work together. We do have the specifics and paperworks and portfolio to show potential profit margin and so forth. But I call her Miss Real Estate. I call her Miss Real Estate because she's doing her thing and is very much appreciated on what you do. Now let me ask you something. What are some of the strengths and good things that you've encountered being into the real estate market? What do you say are the strengths about it?
All I can say is, first of all, there is a good return, especially in Nairobi City. So that is something, and it's you have liquid cash, like you have a good flow now and then. So I think that is of course, that we are in the business. We are there for the money, and I would say that it's an easier thing to do. You just do it for a few months or a year, and then the returns are forever. So I would say that is something that inspires me. I know that is something that I'll have it for a long time for myself and for my generation. So I think that's what give me the strength. Yes.
And so thank you so much, Miss Real Estate, for that. A big part of investing is having the heart to invest and being able to take risk and take chances. A lot of people are not willing to do that. What would you say to someone who wants to be an entrepreneur, especially in Nairobi?
There's, yeah, of course, people would think there is some risk because I have myself risked when I was abroad. I was doing the same, like I was leaving someone to build up for me, do the construction for me. So my part was just to send the money. But I would say if you go the right people, if you're on the ground, like myself, I did it from not from the ground, I did it from above the ground. That's when I started, and it's boomed in a few. As long as you have a good cash flow, it can boom in a shortest time possible, and you do the way you want to do it, the house the way you want to, the designs that you want, the people that you want to work for you. You know, you buy your things yourself with your money, of course, and you on the ground, so you know what's going on, other than having someone to do it for you while they are away. Yeah, so it's a risk, but I would say when you do it yourself on the ground, it's worth doing. Yes.
What advice would you give a foreigner looking to invest in Kenya? And before I say that, let me first say this. You're not only going to possibly partner with me, but you actually have other partners who are foreigners as well. So what would you say about a foreigner who's looking to invest in Kenya? What advice would you give to a foreigner looking to invest in Kenya?
First of all, I would say Nairobi is a very nice place. And as long as you do things in the right way, you will get your things well done. And I want to say the challenge that people are having in Nairobi is because of the capital. So many of us, they don't have the capital. Otherwise, if you have money, you don't even have to have a lot of money. Like I said, for 7 to 10 million, that's a flat building. If you're looking to do a smaller house, it doesn't even have to be 7 million. It can even be 3 million, depending with what you want to put up. So all I can say is the only challenge that we're having in Nairobi is the capital. So if you're a foreigner and you want to invest in Nairobi, first of all, you do things legally. You can go through must have your lawyer for you to have a legit document for the land that you're buying. And from there, you just get a good contractor who can do the things for you. And normally, we don't even use the contractors. You have the foreman who know the job. So you can cut your costs in that way. So it's a good thing.
Okay.
You don't have to be a millionaire to start to start a real estate in Kenya.
So the average person can definitely do it.
Yes.
All right, that sounds really good. Thank you for saying that so much. All right, so yeah, Miss Real Estate, the famous Miss Real Estate of Nairobi County. So the goal of this video, I really want to introduce you to the world. I feel like you're a dynamic woman who does real estate. And just to kind of give some clarity, you don't necessarily come from big money. So you come from humble beginnings and you worked hard to accomplish that. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. What would you say are some key things that some people who come from where you come from need to do so they can become successful in life?
All I can say is because like you said, I come from a very humble beginning. My dad has never had that, and he's of course he's very happy for me because of what I've achieved. Yeah, so somehow he really inspired me on how to do some investment, because at some point when you have in a small lot in Nairobi that is like 50 by 100 in Nairobi, that's money, you're in the city of Nairobi, so from there I would say when you can start small. You don't have to be so rich, like I said before. You don't have to be so rich to do some real estate in Kenya. And building in Kenya is also very cheap. If you're building your own apartment, you can even sell it, and it cannot even cost you $1 million shillings. So all I can say is you don't have to have that big mentality of having a lot of millions in the bank or in your pocket for you to start a real estate. You can start small. Just start with buying a small plot, and then from there you can develop it from slowly by slowly. It's gonna cost you a lot of money.
In America, you cannot get a 20-unit building or housing unless you're willing to pay like $500,000 for a minimum. So it's a huge difference that the average person can do if they have a savings account or stocks and so forth. They can realistically do business in Kenya, and they can partner with people like you. And something I want to add is that you have to find trustworthy people, people who are people of good character. good values to do business with. And Miss Real Estate is definitely that type of individual. And she already has partners that are foreign, and she may have another one in me. So I think it's good to highlight people like you, and it's very appreciated. Let me ask you another question. In New York right now, I'm having an issue because we're not allowed to evict people because of the COVID until January 15th. How do things happen with evictions here and so forth for tenants? Do you guys run into problems with trying to get tenants out if they don't pay the rent?
What happens in Kenya is I'm a woman and I manage my own building, so I can tell you from out of my experience. What happens is you rent out your house, they have to pay 1 month in advance, like just 1 month deposit ahead of the month they have them going to stay with you, and after that they have to tell you in the next month if they are going to move, or they have to tell you a month in advance so you can give back the deposit. So normally what happens here is people, they don't just give you an excuse that I was fired from the work, because normally people here, they do business. People in Kenya, most of them, because the employment here is a bit low, so I would say people do their own businesses, and in that case they know how much they are earning and they can make their own standard and they can live where they want to live, because we have high areas, standard, and the lowest areas. So you don't have to live in a high-end estate if you're making less money. So, and if you know you have your business is not doing good, you can always move to a lower side. So in that case, people have to tell you in advance when they are going to move out of the apartment. People here, they don't say no, so excuse me, I lost my job, or I don't have customers, so I'm not gonna pay you for the next month. No, we don't do that. They have to. People here, they are good, and I can tell you out of experience, I'm in this business for 1 year now. I'm getting to 1 year in December, so I can tell you from out of my experience that you don't have the challenges of people not paying the rent. They pay on time. You can have your own agent who is demanding the money. You don't have to do it yourself. You can have the people doing it for you like agents. That's what happens in Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the higher end markets of places to build in Kenya? What are the neighborhoods where it's like high end and expensive? And then what are the areas that are middle class that you can say that people might look to build? What would you say are the high end areas in Kenya? In Nairobi, pardon me.
Oh, okay. So what I can say is Nairobi city is it's big. So in Nairobi, we have the city Nairobi, which is the center of the Nairobi city. So we have estates nearby the Nairobi city. That's where is the highest demand places that you can make a good return. So it's maybe like, let's say it's like few kilometers from the city, so you don't have to drive long way to get to the city, because most of the business, they are based in Nairobi center. So you can be in an estate which is outside Nairobi city, which is not far from the city, so you don't even have to struggle so much, and you don't even have to wake up so much, because Nairobi is full of traffic. So people, they don't tend to be away from the city center where they are working. So, but there is some also areas where people, they are running to. That is where people are building their own apartments, building their own houses, and I can say it's not also far from the Nairobi city. So basically, everything is done around the Nairobi city, which is not far, maybe 30 minutes at highest. The outside city of Nairobi, you can build or you can live is like, let's say 45 minutes from the city. That is mostly those people who they own their own houses. Yeah.
Something that I want you to acknowledge, because a lot of Westerners get it twisted, they get it confused. They think that Nairobi is also, so you said you don't have to be a millionaire. While that may be true, a lot of people also think, though, that the American dollar is much more stronger than it is. So sometimes people think that $20,000 is a lot of money, and it's really not over here. So I kind of want you to talk a little bit about that, because we spoke how there's some condos that are like $58,000, which are like 7 million shillings or something like that. And people think that, it's a whole lot of money just to have $20,000 and so forth. While that's a good down payment to get a return, or maybe through a partnership, but if you want to get your own place in Nairobi, it's not necessarily that easy. If you just have $10,000 or $20,000, you need a little bit more money to make a bigger impact if you want a big building. Isn't that correct?
Yes, that is correct. But that one is based with the place that you're going to have your own apartment. The time I was talking about $58,000. That is the best outcast of Nairobi, which is like 10-15 minutes from the city. So if you want to have your own apartment and it's not cannot, it doesn't have to be very expensive. Very safe place. You can have your own apartment. You don't have to own that condo for that amount of money. So all I can say is it depends with the location that you're in. If you want to have a good apartment in a very good neighborhood, which is 15 minutes from the town center, which is on Westlands, yeah, I bet you can spend 7 million for an apartment. But of course, you can have the same amount of money in the outcast of Nairobi, which is not far. You can have your best designed house, the one that your heart would desire, for the same money, which is a bit far from the city. That is like 30 minutes. You don't even have it. Kind of vary because there is high end and there is a lower end of the city. Yes.
So something I would suggest to folks out there, you mentioned about the lawyers before. I would also suggest people do feasibility studies, go to hubs, go to different places to meet different types of business people, network with different types of businesses before you even come out here. And most importantly, try to get consultations from people that have actually done it and experienced it and lived it. So if you guys are interested, I will have Miss Real Estate's contact information in the description. We'll put it there. And if you guys have any questions or concerns, you could always reach out to her. If you're interested in partnering up for potential business opportunities, she definitely has some upcoming situations. I'm actually looking at a few of them to possibly get involved in. And, we really appreciate you, Miss Real Estate. Thank you so much. She came to JCJ Ambition. She's here. I'm here. We're in Kenya. And thank you so much.